What's up? Welcome into the Recruiting Roundup. I'm Claudia Collins, and this week I brought in two fresh but very familiar faces to the Roundup. Every week you hear me give my thoughts on the recruiting world. This week I decided why not bring in Cody Cameron and Chili from Arizona Varsity to give their thoughts. I'm going to kick it off with the news of the weekend, which is two-way player over at Desert Mountain, Dylan Tapley, flipping from Sun Devil to Wildcat. Cody, what are your initial thoughts on this flip?
Well, this is what we want, right? Two in-state battles with Jed Fish and Kenny Dillingham. But when you really look at the aspect of this, you look at the University of Arizona program, right? And they're a couple of years ahead of where ASU wants to be, and that's no fault to the ASU staff. It's just it is what it is, right? If you look at U of A a couple of years ago, it's very similar to where the Sun Devils are right now. It's huge credit to Jed Fish and that University of Arizona program, and not only what they're doing in the recruiting class, landing players like Damon Williams and Adam Muhammad, but what they're doing on the field. They've had some massive victories this season, and they're in the thick of it right now in the Pac-12 conference. And when you get a player like Dylan Tapley, who's really close to Damon Williams and has a lot of ties, huge splash for Jed Fish, and not only a huge splash, but you're also winning that in-state recruiting battle with this player.
I talked to Dylan over the weekend, so I want to throw this out before I jump to you, Chili, but it sounds like this was the first offer he got. They really pursued him throughout his entire recruitment. And there was just a decision of, I see myself more at wide receiver playing on the offensive side of the ball in the future. And this feels like the fit. He said he loves Jed Fish's offensive mind. And Chili, as we take a look at the Arizona recruiting class, what are your overall thoughts on the class that they're recruiting in state?
I love what they put together in state. Cody brought up a few of the guys, Adam Muhammad, Damon Williams, guys like that. And, being able to flip Damon from Ole Miss and then winning the in-state battle for Dylan Tapley, who they never gave up on. Arizona never gave up on, even though he stayed committed to ASU for so long, stayed committed to Dilly. U of A's taken some lumps over the past few weeks, so let's not forget that Keona Wilhite decommitted, went to Washington. Elijah Rushing decommitted, went to Oregon. So they kind of needed this. This was good for them. And I tweeted this out a long time ago when Dillingham took the job. The in-state battle for recruiting was going to be epic. And here we are. What they're doing right now is absolutely great in state. And, they had to fix that situation because of the Elijah Rushing situation.
All right, it's time to jump into playoffs because it's mid-November. That's all we're thinking about these days. So I want to just start with players we're excited to see. Cody, give me one or two players that you're looking forward to watching this week. Or
sticking with the University of Arizona recruiting class, Adam Muhammad. I don't know if I've ever seen a player in my 6 years of covering Arizona high school football who bounces off would-be tacklers, continues to move his feet, and just explode through the second and third level like an Adam Muhammad. It is incredible. Like just the stance, the body, the leverage, the understanding of just the athleticism. He is must see. Adam Muhammad, I cannot wait. I'm going to go watch him play in these playoffs for sure. And another player, Braylon Gardner. He's one of the top receiving targets in all of 6A. He's gotten so much better this season. He progressed so much in the offseason, breaking away from defensive backs who are going to be Division I football players coming from the state of Arizona. Big frame, great hands. That breakaway speed shows his strength. That Liberty player right there, Braylon Gardner, is Navi's #1 target. Also must see come playoff time.
Dang, my man Cody forgot his roots on the east side and stayed all West Valley. Listen, but Cody's right. Look, there's a ton of talent in the West Valley. I'm gonna start out over there at Desert Edge. 2025 cornerback over there, punt returner also. Jamar Beal Goins, absolutely special. Got great feet. 19.7 on the catapult. 4.46 40. 10.6 100-meter. And Cody will tell you, these college coaches love those track times, and he can kill you as a punt returner too. Has one for a touchdown and 10 pass breakups. Super handsy, doesn't mind the bigger physical receivers, will go after those 50-50 balls and challenge. So I absolutely love what Jamar Beal Goins is doing over there for Desert Edge. And this is like the third time in like 6 years that I'm picking a Desert Edge DB to be a dude. And this guy is just special. Another one, I'm going to come back to the East Valley since Cody got no representation over there. I'm going to Basha. 2025 receiver over there, Gio Richardson, has really stepped up. 11.02 in the 100 meters, 4.63 laser 40. He's got some good short area bursts, can really get some separation. 1,000 all-purpose yards, I believe, over there. And most of his damage has been done in that tough Premier Region schedule. Always finds a way to make big plays. I think he's got like 6 plays over 50 yards this year. So super talented kid, 9 touchdowns, no big deal. And 12 total touchdowns because he's doing it on kick return too.
A little bit of everything. We love to hear it. Now, I want to know, pick one, just one matchup that you're excited for this week. Cody, lead us off.
Oh man, this week I love the Saguaro team. I think when you look at the Saguaro body of work, right? Yes, they did not make the Open, and a lot of the eyes of the Saguaro Nation over there, maybe a little disappointed in that. Extremely tough schedule, absolutely battle tested, crushed with injuries during the regular season. They have popped off the last 2 weeks. They really controlled that Pinnacle game a couple weeks ago, and then they had a massive win in round 1 over a tough Quinn Creek Bulldog team. They faced Perry, okay? And Perry and Coach Ortiz, they haven't done a phenomenal job over there. He is really bringing that program back in a big rise. Saguaro's healthy. Mason Bray is absolutely cooking. He is a tremendous quarterback. Missed multiple weeks this season, and he is lighting it up. And the defense is playing nasty. They're playing ferocious. And that offensive line always plays its best football come November because Coach Mark Martinez is one of the legends, one of the best offensive line coaches in the entire state for so many years. Give me that matchup all day. Saguaro versus Perry. It's a pretty good chance whoever wins that football game is going to play in Sun Devil Stadium in a couple weeks.
I think I said the same thing on Bleacher Talk last week, that Perry Saguaro, it's going to be one of them. Chili, what's the game you're most excited for?
Dude, I'm not going to go out to it, but I'm super fascinated with this Williamsfield South Point game. Dylan Lee versus that monster front that they got over there with Elijah Russian, Keona Wilhite, Luis Cordova, Banye over there. Like, I think that's going to be an interesting game to monitor. And, the way Williamsfield runs that offense super downhill, and they're going to really give Dylan Lee an opportunity to showcase his abilities. And all of us in the state, we're always wondering, how will he do versus one of these super tough fronts? And I think we're going to find out on Friday night. So I'm excited for that matchup.
I want you to pick the open division matchup, not necessarily a winner unless you want to go there. I'll just go ahead and give mine that I gave on Bleacher Talk, which go check that out on sports360az.com. But I've been saying for a few weeks, feels like a Basha Liberty situation for me this year. But Cody, what's your prediction?
I'm going to throw an absolute curveball over here, and I'm so glad this is going to be posted everywhere, so everybody can screen record me when I say this. Give me the Highland Hawks versus the Centennial Coyotes. Highland's defense does not give up points. Bend don't break. They don't even give up yards, okay? They are phenomenal. That front seven is incredible. Cash Collimore, Cody Collimore, they do it all for that football team. Extremely well coached. Brock Farrell, offensive wizard. Highland does not turn over the football. They are a very, very, very tough team to beat. They have the Wolves round 1, and that should be the biggest game in the entire country. They escape that. I think they can get Liberty. I think they match up really well with the Lions. I really, really do. Give me Highland and give me Centennial on the other side. Also a great defense. Awesome offense. Let's go.
I have Highland winning that game this week on Bleacher Talk, so I'm at least in my eyes seeing them go another week. Chili doesn't look like he agrees, so what's your matchup?
No, I mean, hey, I love that pick. I really love that pick, and I didn't think about it much until just now. But man, Hawk Nation's gonna kill me for this. It's the weaker offensive line that we've seen over the past 3 years. So while they're really, really great on the other side of the trenches, I just don't know if on the offensive side they're going to be able to make that thing work. But they beat Basha and kept it close first channel, so it's possible. However, I think that what we're going to see is a rematch of sorts. And I really want to pick Liberty Basha because I'd like to see Damon get an opportunity to finish the story, or Navi an opportunity to finish the story. But man, Centennial is absolutely crazy. I think it's going to be Centennial Liberty in the final.
I want to not so fast moment. I'm not so fast. Do you think Basha escapes A-Lake Quinn Creek this week?
Hey, we got to run this thing back. What happened last year with ALA Quinn Creek and Basha? I mean, remember what you predicted last year?
I did, and I publicly put this year that this is a much different scenario, and I think you would agree because this A-Lake Quinn Creek team is completely battle tested with 6.
Can we get a public apology?
No, I don't apologize. I meant it last year. This year, I don't apologize anything that I meant. This year,
So you just had to eat it.
totally different. I think their junior class has really impressed. Like their defensive players in their junior class. Brody Michael, who played quarterback last year, absolute stud. And I love that you brought up track times, bringing up the multi-sport athletes, because all those guys this offseason ran track. And I think it really helped them in football. And so you have a bunch of tough kids who do not care who they play. That's the biggest thing right now, right? If you make it in the open, it's all these kids. They do not care who they play. They'll line up against anybody. No fear. No fear. Those A-League Queen Creek kids do not care. I 100%. Don't know if Basha escapes this week with all the stuff that's going on over
there. Listen, free Miles Lockhart, number one. And if they don't, the situation with Jaden Williams, me and Claudia were out there for the Mountain Point game when my man was making the most absurd catches. Yeah. Holy smokes. Pull up the film. Claudia, you were there. Jaden Williams is an absolute monster. So, Cody, you might be right. This game could be somewhat of a pick-em based on everything that's going on.
Yes.
But
yes.
Man.
I think if Miles played, I think Basha would probably be favored by a score. But with everything that's happening, if everything stays where it is, I think it's true.
I think it's a pick-em.
I think having Enoch Watson, like his athleticism, that's really the biggest. That's what shocked me this year, because this Coco film, it didn't have a ton of film coming from Coconino. His athleticism is really impressive. He's really, really good. One of the best 6'8" quarterbacks, and they just have a good system there. And their defense, man, they are cover 0, cover 1 all day long, and they're bringing the house. And the big thing is because Damon can torch anybody with his legs.
Facts.
Burn anybody. A-League Queen Creek has the defensive players, though, who are extremely fast. So you have to be gap disciplined, but they have the players who can hunt them down. So that's where it's going to be. I really like the matchup, man.
Hey, Damon's best quarterback in the country, I think. I've loved him for a while. Top dual threat at least. Got to be in the conversation, top 3. Otherwise, I'm not having the conversation. But I think it's a pick-em.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm going Centennial, Liberty, the rematch for the championship.
I wish we could clone ourselves. I wish we could clone ourselves because we can't be everywhere on Friday. It sucks.
Couldn't agree more. And I think we could do an entire segment on just 6A quarterbacks this season because it's quite impressive. But as always, thank you guys for joining me on the Recruiting Roundup. If you're not already following Cody and Chili on Twitter, then what are you doing? And if you want more recruiting news, head to sports360az.com.